Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast. All the things we did not get to during the course of the show today. I kind of forgot, Rock. We were talking about something before the show, while we prepped for the regular show, and it was a story. I was like, "Oh, why don't you do this?" And then you're like, "Oh, we're going to do another therapy session today because we did that yesterday." What was it? Do you remember?
That's the one I'm doing.
Oh, it is the one you're doing. Yeah. Oh, good. Well, then we'll get to that then in a minute. Yeah. I was thinking it was something for the show, and then I'm like, oh, we got through the show with no therapy today, and no, here it is. Okay.
Yeah, no, we're still gonna.
Well, do you want to start?
Sure.
Is it going to be the heaviest thing we talk about?
No.
Well, it's up to Wally. The thing is that what I do in the morning is when I get in, I look through the prep service and I get all of these things that are going on. And then I mention all of them to him, give him like the footnotes of it. And then he chooses what he wants me to talk about in my news and what he wants me to talk about in the Aftercast. Right. Okay. So I'm bringing up this topic because he wants
because usually I look for things that I have a take on or that one of us has a connection to, because I'll always ask you, well, what do you like, what resonates with you, because I'd much rather we talk about things that one of us is connected to in some way. I've already forgotten what it is, full disclosure.
Okay, well, great.
So now you could do anything. You could be like, gummy bears are great. Oh, you're right.
Done and done. Idris Elba. I saw him in that movie and y'all made fun of me. Beast, I think is what it was called.
The lion thing.
And it was so ridiculous.
Yeah, I watched it.
I didn't think it looked like a bad movie.
It
didn't, but I went and saw it.
That's so funny.
And it was horrible. Like, he was with his two daughters, and I don't know how old they are, like maybe 16 and 13.
Yeah.
And somehow the 16-year-old is able to get out of the car and rescue this grown man.
Dragging him
out of a crocodile-infested river and with a murderous lion on the loose.
I saw that on a plane going to Africa. I thought it would be funny. I'm
ironic.
Like, all right, let me watch this while I was there. It is without a doubt
terrible.
One of the most implausible and horrible movies.
Sure.
He couldn't even, and he's a great actor.
Yeah.
And he couldn't even save it.
No, he could not. Anyways, he is the one we're talking about, Idris Elba.
Idris. Gavin said it the first time. It's Idris Elba.
It's Idris.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, no problem.
I said it country-like. Idris.
Idris.
Okay. I'm just calling him Elba.
Sure.
I like that, yeah.
So Elba, he says that he has gone to therapy for the last year due to his workaholicism.
I got you.
So he claims that he works in an industry that rewards him for unhealthy habits. That means he's worked on a film, 10 days straight. He says, I've been underwater, doing underwater sequences, holding my breath for 6 minutes, and I come back and sit in the studio and I feel relaxed. He feels more relaxed, he said, when I'm working than I do sitting on my sofa with my family. And that's not normal.
No, because like your mind starts going, you're like, I should be working. What should I be doing? I have come from that place. I've gotten better, but I still struggle through it. Like if I'm at home because we work weird hours, like we work all morning long and then I'll go home and eat lunch and then I still work during the afternoon, then I'll work a little bit at night and stuff. And I used to, because it was working daylight hours, I used to really struggle with this. I'm like, I'm up, I should be working but I have to remember I've already put in 8 hours and I know I've got another 3 that I'm going to do, but I definitely struggled through that. So like I would be sitting there watching TV with my wife and just thinking I could be working. I should be doing something right now.
Do you think though that
it's not healthy?
Yes, it's not. But he went and sought therapy for a whole year. And he's a big grown
big man. Yeah. I see where you're going. I know what you're doing.
I'm just going to leave it there.
Yeah.
But don't you think that feeling comes from a fear of being unseen or inadequate, or a fear of being forgotten,
or of having not done enough?
I think it's a few things. I think that one, workaholic type behavior comes from you find your validation in it, and like, so for him, if he does good on the movie, that's where his validation comes from. And that's where his identity. Exactly. And so when your work is so tied to who you are, then that's where you're going to want to spend most of your time.
But then I could see this being super unhealthy. Like, for instance, my generation and Gavin's generation, I think we're trying to pull ourselves away from that because we see that you can give and give and give to a company and you can be easily replaced.
Well,
and so there is somehow a line there where you can't go one way or the other. You can't work yourself to death and die at your desk.
Right.
And you can't also just phone it in and live off people's tax money. So, but I think what I'm saying is there is a way to have a healthy balance so that when let's say for some reason you lose your job,
right,
and it was something that you either did or it was something that was just against you, like it was inevitable.
Yeah.
Your identity isn't stolen from you because you didn't tie it into your job.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%.
Whereas if you find your identity in your work, then once it's taken away from you, you don't know what to do with yourself because you don't know who you are.
Right. So you're talking about something called the social contract. The social contract used to say, if I work and dedicate my life to this company for 30 years, this company's going to care about me, take care of me when I'm done. It's going to give me a pension, and I'll work hard for them. They'll take care of me. Mm-hmm. That social contract changed, years ago, where companies would get rid of people would quit. There was no loyalty on either side. And so it leaves people kind of in this middle, like, well, what do? I work all this time for you and then you just fire me.
And the age of retirement is going up and up and up.
I've always accepted in this job, this line of work, that you are A, replaceable, and B, a lot of times you don't see it coming. And so for me, I've always lived with that, and that's been a pressure that's driven me. But I also don't work for the company. Like, the reason I work hard or my work isn't because I expect WayFM to be there when I'm, sick someday or whatever. I don't expect WayFM to be there. I don't expect any radio station I've ever been at to be there. And that's why I work for me. I always work for me. I work hard and I want to be successful, or I want to put in for my own self, regardless. It's more for the industry. Like, I love this job more than like each individual station I've been at. I don't expect them to. Like, so like a boss doesn't have to motivate me because I'm going to self-motivate. I remember we've had 2 new bosses recently, and I'm like, look, I don't need motivational speeches. I don't need you to micromanage me. I don't need any of that because you're not going to have to worry about me because I'm going to come in every day and I'm going to do what I know needs to be done because I'm working for me, and so I've always viewed it that way. So that's where my workaholic tendencies came from for a lot of years. But you're right. It does come back to validation. It does come back to identity, and it does come back to not... there is a fear too, like I could be replaced, so I got to work harder, and that's not healthy. But you think about a mom when their kids grow up, they lose their identity a lot of times. It's the same thing for guys with work, and then maybe a mom that doesn't understand why her husband works so much. When your kids go away, or even just thinking about that if they haven't yet, what do? You might understand it better because your identity is wrapped up in what you do, and that's not. It's not in balance. It's not a bad thing, but when it's out of balance, that's when it's a bad thing. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, because like I said, once that job is ripped from you, you've heard multiple stories of men who have lost their jobs, like maybe due to COVID, and then they either end their life or they go to alcoholism.
Yeah,
because
you flounder.
Yeah, because you don't know what to do with yourself anymore.
I was out of work for a year, out of radio work, and I floundered. I went to other radio station promotions, like just to be around it, like remotes. Oh yeah. I heard a radio station was doing a remote, like at this ski shop, and I went and
just talked to the people, and they're like, "How can we get rid of this guy?"
Well, no. What happened was, this is a weird story. Okay, so I used to do, like, when I first started, I was like my character was Zippy, and I used to run around and throw out things at events, and that's how I started, like in promotions. And so there was a guy at this radio station in South Carolina that had been on vacation in Orlando, saw me doing what I do, and then he ended up creating a character like that, even named him Zippy at his radio station. So I'm visiting my sister, and I'm not working, and so I visit my sister, and I hear this promotion going on. Come down and meet Zippy at the local Sun and Ski. And I'm like, wait, what? And so I go down there, and the guy is doing my shtick, but doing it badly. And so I took over this guy's remote. I'm like, look, dude, your boss got this from me. Let me show you how to do this. And so I took over the whole thing to the point where I'm on the bus. They're getting ready to go skiing. And people are like, you're going with us, right? I'm like, I can't. I don't have any ski clothes. I'm not even the guy. I don't even work here. But I was so desperate in my identity of my job, and then somebody doing it like badly, that I like lost my head, and it was a weird story and a weird time.
Yeah, I just think that there's a balance there between like you finding your identity, being proud of what you do.
Right.
That's a good thing.
Sure.
But not letting it become your identity either.
Well, I've had to alter. Well, we talk about changing. We talked about changing earlier on the show today about like changing for your spouse. And I said, I've had to change things for you, and things like that. You and I have very different views when it comes to work. I'm not going to say work ethic because you have a strong work ethic. I would say work schedule. Like you set boundaries and block out times, that now I respect, and I try to not hit you with those, like when you're taking a nap, or whatever. Like I don't nap, so I'm awake. Gavin can get a hold of me for whatever he needs. I know there's a window of time that I've accepted. Okay, we work differently, but I respect you, and so I'm not going to bother you unless it's an emergency in that time. And so you set up boundaries for your own work health. And years ago, though, but me, former workaholic me, would have come unglued with that and been like, absolutely not. Either you do it this way or you're fired. Like that was how I used to be.
Yeah, but I think it comes back to everybody works differently.
Correct.
And just because one way works for you,
right,
that you think is better, doesn't mean that it works for everyone else. It's kind of like...
but that's how I've had to change. And I've had to realize that. And that's a healthy realization.
Yes.
And I appreciate that from you.
But I think it's kind of like an introvert and an extrovert. It's
right.
Like when you're an introvert, you need time to step away from everyone and
to recharge.
And it's not a selfish thing. It's actually making you a better person for everyone around you. So for you to have that time alone.
But other
people, the same thing as that.
If you look at, that's a really great example. But workaholics, if you're not putting in like they put in, I'm not going to say more or less, but if you're not putting in like they put in, they view you as selfish for you need some me time. Oh, you need some me time? You need some me time? Well, I'm not taking me time. I'm working on my vacation. And like that's how I viewed it for so many years. Like I still work a little on my vacations. I've gotten a lot better at it. This last vacation, I didn't even take my laptop with me.
It's great.
I came home to 1,000+ emails, and I deleted a lot of them. I didn't even read them, and so I am getting better at it. But you definitely have shifted me in a good way. And the reason that you shifted me, the reason that I think you were able to shift me is, shift me, SHIFT. I got to be very careful there. The reason you were able to shift me is one, relationship. We've had a lot of years in this together. Loyalty. I respect you, and you do it kindly. Like we've had like some blowouts before, but like you found a way to navigate me successfully. But I think what it really ultimately comes down to is respecting the work that the other person does, and like knowing that you do things that I don't do well. I might do things that you don't do well, but you do things that I don't do well, and respecting you enough to go, okay, I know she's working. I know she's putting in. It's different than I do it, but she's putting her weight. She's pulling her weight.
And the job's getting done.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like, there are days you stay here later than you should because you're like, I feel guilty about going home. That's an example of this. It's like, if your work is done, or, how many days do I tell you? Like, I'm always the first one in, but I leave before Gavin and Betty leave. Like, almost every day. But, like, I will always go, hey, I'm going to go home and work on this because I like to work at home in a different environment. And, like,
I don't.
Yeah, see,
most of the time.
That's the difference. Gavin will stay here and work till 2:00 in the afternoon, and I'm like, why do you not go home?
Sometimes I go home.
Yeah,
I'm like,
sometimes it depends on the day. But there's something about mixing, and we've heard this a lot with COVID when people had to work from home, and I had to do this too for a little bit. But when you mix your home and your work life, it's like your home life isn't as comfortable as it once was.
It's so fascinating because I don't see that.
I want to separate them.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I personally just like at home for the most part. If it's some things I can do there, but there are just things like I can't give it my best shot at home because the dogs are just like super distracting and very not good at being, away from me.
I have a PlayStation.
Yeah. and that, like when I'm at home, I'm not in work mode. Like I don't get home. When I get home, it's like, all right, turn the brain off. Like I don't like to keep the brain on it.
And that's where I'm totally different than you guys. And maybe that's better. But it works for you. What works for I literally, when I walk in, I come in, I set my bag down, I kiss my wife, and I pull my laptop out. I put my laptop on my kitchen island, plug it in. There's always a cord waiting for it. Open it up, and I catch whatever email I missed on my way home from work. And then we talk about her day a little bit. If we're going to do lunch or whatever, sometimes we'll go out or we'll eat. But then I sit there and I do a little bit of work. And then I will play like Call of Duty for a little bit, and then I come back and do some more work, and then I'll do something else, and I come back and do some. So my work and my home life are completely intertwined. But for me, it's fine. Like for me, I don't. It doesn't. I don't have to keep the two separate. But I never understood that from you guys before. But I do understand it now. I understand that that's how you work best. Yeah. So there you go. This is all health, man.
It's all about. You got to a point when it's like it's okay that you're not like me.
But that's the thing. And people who struggle with narcissism.
That you're not like me.
You think about it, he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
When you work and you're driven or you're a workaholic and people don't do things the way you do things, or maybe you're a type A personality or an 8 on the Enneagram or a narcissist or whatever you want to label me as. People that don't do it the way I do it, I used to think did it wrong. See, and now I've learned, because I'm growing, that it's not wrong to do it differently. If we get to the same conclusion or if we get to where we need to be, that's okay. My wife does it wrong. My wife, I could never work with that woman. I love her to death. I have committed my life to her. But she and I could not run a business together.
Sure.
Because we do nothing the same when it comes to
That's
work.
True.
And so for me, I've offered to help her with her things, and you want to start something, I'm 100% in your corner, and I will get you up and running, but I'm not going to do it with you, because that would be really bad for our relationship.
Right, yeah.
Because I would take over.
Yeah.
Yep.
It wouldn't be good.
No, not at all.
We've got 10 minutes until our meeting that we have to be at.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so I had just a story about Eric Adams. I'll save it for tomorrow. It's funny about New York Mayor. I know we have one birthday, at least. Do you have any others?
I've got one more. Yeah.
Okay, let's do them.
Okay, so this one was sent to Wally. It said, Trevor, it's from Trevor. He said, just wanted to see if you could give a shout out to our daughter, Melanie. Today is her 9th birthday.
Nice,
Happy
Melanie!
birthday, Melanie.
Happy birthday!
Said God blessed us with her in 2016 when she joined our family at about 3 months old, and we finalized her adoption when she was a year and a half old.
Even better.
Since then, our life has been a whirlwind. Melanie is full of energy and spirit. She absolutely loves to be involved in anything and everything, and she pursues engaging in friendships with everyone.
Nice.
That's so sweet.
Well, there you go. I'm glad she has a very happy family, and happy birthday as well.
Then Mom and Dad want to wish Dino Leah a happy birthday.
Dino Leah.
It says Dino.
That's what I would go with.
I like
or
it.
Dino Leo. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Dino's cool.
Today is Leah is 8 years old. She loves dinosaurs.
Got it,
That's
Dino.
it. She's
and
the Dino
cats.
girl.
She's always making me asking me to send in her birthday shout out. Could you all surprise her with a special birthday song?
Oh, absolutely. We haven't done the song in a while. Let me think about it for a second.
Happy
birthday.
Dino
Okay,
birthday.
we're
Yeah.
Happy birthday from all of us to you. Wish you was a birthday. So be part 2. Hey, Dino's rule.
Dino rules.
Then the question is, what was your favorite Halloween costume as a kid?
I never had really good ones as a kid because we were never allowed to go as anything scary. We always had to go as like a paramedic or literally my mom made me a badge that said paramedic.
Aww.
Or
That's
One year I went as Tarzan. That was so unfortunate.
What did you wear?
Okay.
A gust of wind blew up his little
When I was a kid, Tarzan was a big TV
leopard
show.
skin.
Okay, here's the thing. Tarzan was a big TV show when I was a kid. And at some point, you know how you could buy things on it was a TV show. It was an actual show.
Okay.
You didn't miss anything.
I assumed that.
They used to sell things on TV. Remember the Ron Popeil as seen on TV guy? Yes. So they've always been selling things on TV. So this show was so big, they had a pair of like the loincloth that Tarzan wore that they were selling on TV for kids to wear.
No.
Yes.
No. And that's it?
Yeah.
That's all you
and no shirt and a loincloth. And I wanted this thing so bad. Like it looked like this little leather thing or whatever. Yeah. I wanted it so bad, but we could not afford it. So my mom made me one.
Whoa.
Yes, like out of felt or something.
Yes.
And I still remember
chafing.
the other one, like you could swim in it, and it was like, look, and it swims and it dries off instantly. Mine did not swim or stay up when I dove in the pool. So that was not a good costume.
Wow.
You gonna do that again this year?
I'll go for this
please.
year. Yeah.
Did you at least wear something underneath?
No, that's the point. Yes.
Oh gosh, that's bad.
Yes. Tell me about it.
How old were you?
Oh, 17?
No, you were not.
No, I think I was probably
7.
I think I was like 8 maybe.
Oh,
yeah.
gosh,
Tragic.
bless.
Oh,
That's a rough time.
I've got some scars. I got some scars for sure.
You're having a multitude of embarrassing stories.
Yeah.
I know.
Not like oh, he was just being crazy.
Yeah.
Just like straight up cringy, face turning red.
I still remember. I remember the kid's house I was at when I dove in the pool too. Oh.
I had a rough time when it came to wearing masks.
Oh,
so I had a Minnie Mouse outfit, and then I also had a Babs Bunny outfit from Looney Tunes.
Nice.
Or no, Tiny Toons.
Yeah.
And both of those, they were hard because
Your head was big.
I wore glasses that were as big as my head.
You did have some big round glasses.
Yeah, you never knew whether to put the glasses on underneath or over. And you think, well, just go without them. I literally couldn't see from 2 feet in front of me. I was that blind. I still am to this day. So that was difficult. But as I got older, one of my favorite costumes was when I dressed up as a bug zapper and my 2 friends from high school dressed up as bugs. And we would ring the doorbell and they would run into me, and I had battery-powered lights on my costume, which was just a cardboard box wrapped in silver aluminum foil. And they would run into me and I would go bzz, bzz, and we'd go trick or treat. And that was so much fun.
That's so cute.
Betty has always, we used to do costume contests at work, and she always lived for it. And she's come up with some great ones. Her Jean from SNL, more
They literally had a fanny pack that looked like a belly.
Yeah,
I did that one.
The one where you went as the little thing that they have out inside a car dealership.
Yes.
Balloon Man.
That one was so much fun.
So good.
Yeah.
You've done some good ones.
One year we dressed up as a fork, a knife, and a spoon because there was 3 of us.
That makes sense.
We just wrapped ourselves in aluminum foil. And we left aluminum foil all over that neighborhood because it kept just falling off.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun.
That's a good one. Gavin, what about you?
It's childhood, but like not as like a little kid. If I'm just because I did like the football player, soccer player thing for like super
you have
young.
to,
But around like 16 years old or so.
Which Harry Potter character did you go as?
Dressing up at 16. I can't judge. I was doing the same.
Yeah,
thing.
we were doing. It was like a Halloween party at somebody's house.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Not trick or treating at 16.
Oh, I was trick or treating. Yes, I was. I want free candy.
I don't like the older kids.
That's tough. A buddy of mine and I went as. I think we tried to do flashy leprechauns, not leprechauns that flash.
Okay.
Just to clarify.
Yeah.
But so
I'm like, that's a creative costume that can get you arrested.
Where did that come from?
I don't totally remember. We were both like redheads, so you just
their
like,
height.
We were both very short. Like he was.
Was he redheaded too?
Yeah, I think he was shorter than me, which is kind of funny.
Oh my goodness!
But
it's almost invisible.
It was a bad day though, because it was like the same day that I got broken up with one of the girlfriends, and so I'm just like wearing this dumb costume, but I'm also like just dead inside going to this party. I'm sitting there, we're all hanging out. I'm like, I'm gonna leave early.
Yeah.
And I just took off home in my like bright gold pants. And
Yeah. You're like, you know what? She might have broke up with me, but I'm going to go to this party. I'm going to find another girl. Oh, no, I'm dressed as a flashy leprechaun. I should just call it. Just going to call it for today.
Where did the flashy part play in?
I don't remember. Flashy, okay. Like the looks, like the pants were like bright gold.
Oh, okay.
We had like bright green shirts on. We got those, you remember those sunglasses that had like the lines across it, and then
so you're
fedoras.
like a leprechaun rapper.
Yeah. We might have gone with gangster. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was dumb.
That's awesome.
But that's what you do when you're 16.
Yep.
It was
his friend was super flamboyant. This is what he's finding out now.
Oops.
That or it was
All
me.
right. That's gonna have to do it for your Aftercast for today. As always, thanks for being a potty.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.